morning, beautiful people. Arise and shine. Welcome to the Younib breakfast show here at Younib TV with me, Penina Wachera. I hope you guys have woken up well and are excited to face your day. For me, I'm really excited. I'm actually very happy because today I've told myself that I look beautiful. And I hope you've also told somebody and also you've told yourself, yeah? So as it is the norm here at the Younib breakfast show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. So today we are doing a part 2 of young marriages. You guys were very excited about the first episode of the young marriage, and today we are coming back with the same conversation, same face. Actually is in studio, and we are here to just give you more information on young marriages. Remember, this show is proudly brought to you by Miss Ashen and Younib organization. So we are here to inform you on matters mental health. Yeah, so remember, if you have anybody who needs mental health assistance, you can always tell them to call the number 0700-352-250. And if you want to ask questions, interact with us, or even tell us your conversation or your first experience when it came to young marriages, you can always do that through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. Let's dive into the conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, Penina.
Karibu tena sana hapa.
Asante sana.
You look so nice.
Oh, thank you.
Karibu sana. Please kindly look at the camera, introduce yourself. Utuambie ni nani for the viewers who actually don't know you. Maybe they're watching us for the first time.
Good morning, our viewers. My name is Ndirangu. I'm a counseling psychologist, and I'm also a mediator, and I'm also an MC. And I love spending time with the young people and mentoring them and giving information that I have and sharing information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Karibu sana. It's always a pleasure having you here in studio. Yeah. So on our previous episode tuliongea maneno mingi when it comes to young marriages, yeah, and I hope for everyone mwenye amewatch hiyo the first episode of the young marriages, yeah, you've gotten to learn and understand what young marriage is all about. So today we are coming back to continue the conversation because I believe we've not spoken about even half of what we intended to do in our previous show. So to start us off, what are some of the most common surprises newlyweds face in their first few years?
Just like in any other field, marriage also comes with its share of surprises. When people are in courtship, they agree on everything. They even have a projection of how their life is going to be, how they are going to spend their money, how they are going to do ABCD. But those are two people talking.
Yeah.
Remember last time we talked about when people are in courtship, they're the only ones there. Then marriage has happened. They're no longer dating. They're no longer in courtship. This is not a boyfriend. It's not a girlfriend thing. It's a marriage. This is a wife. This is a husband. So the person that you used to court with will change, definitely. Not because they wanted to change. Reality happens. When you are in courtship, there are so many things you didn't focus on. You didn't even see because maybe circumstances never allowed. Remember, you're not living together that time. Here you are living together every day. Ujai kuniona bila makeup. All of a sudden umeniona bila makeup. Ujai sikia hata na ngorotanga. You see,
yeah.
Sometimes tunaangalianga face ya mtu nafikiria huyu haezi fanya you see all that. And then tulikuwa tu sisi wawili, then kumekuja other factors. For example, a lady gets married, anakuwa asha join familia kina the guy.
Yeah.
Sindio? So do you dictate how they do their things? You can't. You didn't even get to understand their culture. For example, you didn't even get to understand their way of doing things because some things you will never learn before you live together.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this ati kuogopesha watu, but grau inakuanga tofauti sana. Ni kama vile you do theory versus practicals. Surprises will be there in that hamujawai kuwa pamoja tena every day, every other day. Hakujai kuwa na a tide that you are supposed to overcome together. Hakujai kuwa na mteremko, hakujai kuwa na kitambo mlikuwa mna dictate vitu. Afu because you're so much in love, which is okay, and it was new, kila kitu mlikuwa hata mnalenga sometimes. Ujaiona huyu mtu amekasirika, ndiye huyu amekasirika, how do they react? And so are you going to quit just because of that? Utajisurprise pia wewe. But apparently there are those surprises that you surprise yourself. You didn't even know you were so resilient. You didn't even know you had patience. You didn't even know you would overlook some things. And here you are faced by a situation where you have to, well, now I need to calm down, I need to think. And you are making also decisions that before you never made. So unaona? Then vile mlikuwa mmepanga vitu, unajua hiyo ni kupanga, hazikufanyika hivyo. So what do? Those are surprises, and they are many. And they don't only happen when the marriage is new. They keep on happening every time. Maybe hata ni surprise poa sana imekuja. You didn't have a very good job. All of a sudden imekuja vile mmewana. How do you get that? The lady becomes a boss where she works. And the guy is not that much. Sindio? Yes. So ni surprise ingine. How are you going to make sure that everything runs properly? Hiyo ni surprise. But they're not there to weaken a marriage. Actually, they come to strengthen us and to get the best out of ourselves.
So I hope we are following up with the conversation and that we are getting to learn more than we knew when it comes to young marriages. Yeah. So Nancy, I'd like to ask more on the conversation on cultural. We've seen in the modern days now people are actually more open to getting married to different culture and also races. Yeah. So what is the implication of members or people just being in a mixed marriage?
Okay, let's say in a case where there is a mixed marriage, be it tribes, different tribes, or even race, here the effort you put will be definitely more. First of all, the two people getting married are getting married because they have agreed, meaning that the language they both speak is okay with them. Now you have gotten married. Labda wazazi wa hii side ama hii side hawaelewi the common language, maybe national language. Okay, in this country we speak English, we speak Swahili. Yeah. Sindio? Labda kule umeolewa, hao wazazi hawajui kuongea either of these two languages, na nyinyi mnaongea hizo. Language barrier becomes a challenge. That notwithstanding, sometimes everybody is conversant with the language that we speak, but there will always be something about people's culture that is deeply rooted, whether we want to believe it or not. Sometimes you may not even think it matters because hakujai kuwa na situation unahitajika ku practice your culture. We have gotten married. Mimi sijakuuliza culture yenu mnafanyanga nini. Sometimes people don't even understand their own culture, and especially the young people. Hata sisi kuna vitu zingine we just assume. Then a death happens in the family, for example. When death happens, it's not handled by two people. Sometimes you may have given birth to a child. Unfortunately, a child dies. It happens. Ukifikiria vitu zitafanyika vile nyinyi wawili mnafanya, kumbe kuna culture hapo involved. You didn't know your culture iko because hakukuwa na hiyo circumstance ama situation ati muonge hivyo. Ukapata hii ni uphill task. Hii culture vile inafanyika, hapana, I'm not very comfortable with it. What are you going to do? Some things you are going to learn. Others you will never get comfortable with, but you are going to still be there, but you are going to respect. Sometimes people have celebrations in very different ways. You give birth to a child, it's your child. You thought you would decide how to do things. But huko unapata nyanya yao ndiye who decide mtoto ufanyiwaje. And they will not even consult you in some cases. Then come to different races. Sometimes we imagine that mtu akiolewa na a different race, ameomoka nini. But people have their own cultures. Some cultures are very difficult, including simple things. Food they eat. You don't eat that kind of food. Sometimes there's a function, there's an occasion where you must eat that kind of food that according to you is disgusting. And you must. So you have to be strong enough for them to understand that you may not eat what they eat, not because it's bad, but for you it's not comfortable. You don't go telling people that siwezi kula hiyo mnakulanga, hapana, but also you cannot eat what you're not comfortable eating.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have to learn another language. Utaanza wapi? And by the way, when it is a mixed tribe, an inter-tribal marriage, both of you lazima kila mmoja asome lugha. Haya, watoto wataongea lugha gani? Okay, it's called mother tongue, si ndio?
Yeah.
So does it mean mama yao ndiye atawafundisha lugha yake? Ni both of you. Imagine, mta have to agree. Sometimes it becomes even an issue. The house help you get, atatoka tribe gani, mtaongea lugha gani kwa nyumba? Nobody wants to feel like mnanisengenya. You see? Then there's the issue of other people visiting. My aunties will visit, they will speak my language. You are not going to force them. So how long are we going to engage na wewe uko hapo na tumekulenga tu? It's not so easy, but if people do it properly, last time we talked about hakuna kitu iwezekani. It depends on muna agree ama hamu agree. And you don't force somebody to learn things. Some people take so long to learn even a language, even a few words. Mtu atakuwa amekaa 10 years akisikiza lugha fulani amelearn word moja. Another one 2 months. Ako sawa depending on interest na pia munampeleka aje, si ndio? But it may not be as easy as we think. But as I always say, it may not be easy, but it's always possible. Yeah, you give it time, and also the energy and the effort. Na ni watu wawili hapa, si ndio? Alafu of course kila mtu anasaidia mwenzake.
Okay, awesome. I hope we are getting to learn and we're getting to actually understand this conversation on young marriages. Yeah, I want us to take this short break and we'll be back with more concerning the conversation of the day. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show with me, Penina Wachera, and today we are having a conversation on young marriages. Yeah, remember you can always interact with us through our social media platforms, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. Remember also to use the hashtag YBS with Penina Wachera. Yeah. So going back to the conversation, Nancy, how should young couples really handle conflicts in a healthy way to avoid resentment?
I'm happy you have even asked about conflicts, because sometimes before you get married, you imagine there will never be conflicts.
Yeah.
Conflicts will always be there, big, small, sometimes uncalled for, but watu wawili wakikaa pamoja lazima kutakuwa na kugwaruzana kidogo. Na imagine do you know, they don't even start big. Zinaanzaga kidogo sana. I was living on my own, he was living on his own. Mimi, there's a way I do my things. Unajua kuna kwanza hawa to perfectionists. Yeah. Napenda order. Kila kitu imepangwa pahali. On the other hand, mostly the guy. Wacha niseme mostly the guys because hawajulikani sana kwa kukua very good housekeepers. Yeye utoa viatu akiingia, moja iko hapo, ingine hapo, socks iko hapo, and they're just okay. Ladies in some cases, hapendi hivyo. Umengangana. You know, the first time you don't even see it as a big thing. Unazichukua tu naambia, ai, si uwekange hizi vitu hapa. Yeye unajua structuring yake sio hiyo. Hiyo inaweza kuwa conflict. Then watu ulizana vitu zingine ndogo. Unaona YouTube ya toothpaste. Kuna watu hawapendi hiyo kufinya anywhere. Those people hataki shida. Anafinyanga tu anywhere. Sana wanaume. And then they may think I have issues with them. I don't. Then mmoja anataka ipinywe kuanzia hapa. I don't know, it annoys you when you focus on that. Itakuumiza, si ndio? So sometimes somebody will ask themselves, shida iko wapi? Si mimi nifinyange tu correctly. But is it easy? But conflicts, what happens? You do not wait for them to escalate. You discuss issues and you address issues as soon as possible. Kwa sababu mkigojea sana, now that is where it becomes a big issue. One person should not assume the other person was not hurt. Ati hiyo ni kitu sasa ya kufanya ushinde ukiteta. As long as a conflict has been raised, it should be addressed. And let me tell you something. If it is not addressed and resolved, it will always be an issue. Actually, there is when people are older in marriage, they spend more time. It is always said that women will always remember something that was done 50 years ago. It's not that they like remembering things that happened many years ago or they don't forgive. But was it addressed? Was it resolved? Was there a closure? As long as it is still pending, and you know, mostly men will say, achana na hiyo story. So, tumeachana na hiyo story, there was no closure. So, learn to do your conflicts properly in a mature way. And do not immediately go to get help from outside. You only do that as a very last resort. Learn to discuss your issues. Mwambiane, bede tukikosana, how are we going to be handling that? Alafu you give each other time and you take each other's grievances seriously, and none of you should be taking advantage. Kwa sababu pia kuna watu take advantage, anajua mimi nikikosea, and then there are those people who play victim. Yeye amekosea but wewe unamwambia pole. That is not healthy at all. And nobody should also conceal pain. I was hurt when you did this. I should not pretend to be okay. But also we should be mature in marriage. Kuna tu conflict tungine tudogo, honestly. You assume, you don't bring up everything on the table here. At just because nimekukanyanga tu kidogo inakuwa shida. And then don't forget, when conflicts happen, some are about personalities. I may not even change that. You have to learn to live with me the way I am. I also have to learn to live with you the way you are. Some things I must train myself to stop doing for the sake of a good marriage. And it's not easy, but it's possible. Yeah.
And I like the way you've said that we should learn to communicate, And most times when you speak about relationships, that's something that comes up. When you speak about how people live, communication is always key, as according to everyone, what everyone says. So how can young people really improve their communication skills and emotional intelligence in marriage?
Communication is key, very, very key in every relationship. Sometimes I listen to even older people in marriage, and I wonder, they tell me, atuongeangi, why did you get married? How was the process when you were getting married? People used to talk. That is why, uliingiaje box? Mtu alikuja na mistari, akakwambia, ukasikia, ukafurahi, mkaongea, mkafurahiana. So when did it stop? Why? It's a choice we make. If you choose not to talk, and there's a difference between speaking and communicating. Sometimes people talk ati tuliambiwa tufanye ABCD. But are you in a communication? No. Communication is where we are going together. We discuss our issues. We have projections. We have conflicts and we solve. It does not mean because a marriage is happy, watu hawakosanagi. But mkikosana na mnaiongelelea, that is communication. There is a message that you're supposed to give. How do you give the message? You're supposed to give an apology. How do you do it? All that is communication. And in communication, in a proper communication, there is respect, there is honesty, and there is kugojeana. Si mtu mmoja ati yeye ndiye huongea. And sometimes nowadays we have phones. Unaweza kunaongea, the other person is on phone. Honestly, how is that? Unaongea mwingine anaangalia tu kwa TV hivi. Unaongea mwingine ako tu hivi making faces, making expressions. It's not that. When we are in a communication, we are together. I'm listening to you in a good way. I'm responding. Tukakosa kuelewana, tukahakikisha tunaelewana. Sometimes your communication, depending on what, may not be done in the usual atmosphere. Mnaenda nje, mnapiga story huko. First of all, you come up with your own strategy of how you are going to be communicating. A joke here and there, then seriousness. Afu kitu inakuwa sawa.
Okay. I'd like to know also, because tumeongelea about communication, and actually it's very, very important that people should improve their communication skills. It's something that we have been ignoring sana. Even in relationships, as you said, people will not sit down, wamekasirikiana, lakini they just ignore it in any way. Yeah? So as we continue the conversation, I want us to go to now already when you've started getting children in the family. What are some of the mistakes that young couples really make when raising a family?
Well, that one is very, very important. And actually, it comes as a shock to so many. First of all, before you got married, you didn't have children. You also do not know what kind of children you're going to have. And then, mtoto amezaliwa, si ndio? Mtoto akizaliwa, hakukuwa hapo before, mlikuwa tu nyinyi wawili. Mlikuwa mnafanya vitu your way. Aya, amezaliwa, ame-occupy space ya mmoja. Mostly the mother is the mother has given birth. Mostly the mother is the one to be with the child, maybe full time, si ndio? Huyu mtoto ashawekelewa kwa pahali wewe ulikuwa unakaa. The guy used to sit here, mtoto amewekelewa hapo, already ameshakuwa displaced. Katoto hamkujua kataweza kulia usiku yote. They come with issues. There are those ones, they will sleep the whole day. Watoto wanapenda hivyo. They sleep the whole day, they wake up the whole night. Hamkukuwa amefactor in. The lady obviously is on maternity leave, but ametoka kugive birth. Kwa hivyo akona health issues, or sisemi health issues ati ni mgonjwa, but sasa mwili haija recover. She also needs rest, anataka kuangaliwa vizuri. The man is not on leave, although siku hizi wanaendaga paternity leave depending on where they work. Maybe 2 weeks, I don't know. In other places maybe longer. Then yeye ametoka job, even after those 2 weeks mtoto bado ni mdogo. Ametoka job, anataka kurelax. Mtoto ndio huyu amelia usiku yote, hataki kulala. So what happens if you are not careful? Mtakosana. So bottom line hapa ni mkae mkijua si ni mtoto wenu. There's always a process. Mtoto hata kuwa mkubwa siku moja, you got married na mkaamua mzae mtoto, so you have to be in that process together. And you have to help each other. Mmoja ako able kuangalia tutoto tudogo vizuri better than the other. Sometimes it's even the man. But let me tell you, in my case, I was not so very good with them when they are too young. But my husband, on the other hand, was very, very good na tutoto hutu tudogo sana. Actually, from day one. And he would wake up in the middle of the night, mtoto analia, mimi hata sijasikia, I'm sound asleep. He would wake up na anachukua mtoto. And I'm not saying that everybody should do the same. No. People have their way of doing things that make their marriage work. Mtoto akikuja, hakukuwa na house girl. Before mtoto, mlikuwa nyinyi wawili. Now there is an external factor. There is a house girl. Na maybe vile vitu zinafanyika mmoja hayuko comfortable nayo. So how do you make sure relationship yenu inaendelea? Hapo ndio mostly we fail. Kwa sababu one person, and especially the man, is always left out, pushed out. All the love, all the attention woman will give to the child. Kwa sababu si ni mtoto na ni mtu mzima. Anataka nini? Si ndio? So hapo if we are not careful, hapo vitu mingi sana uharibika. Men also need attention, a lot of it actually. Unajua yeye hakuna mtu alikuwa amemwambia mtoto atakuja kumreplace, na mtoto amekuja amemreplace mpaka jina. It used to be called babes, sasa katoto kanaitwa babe, baby, babes, honey, kila kitu kizuri ndio kanapewa. Attention yote. In fact, even he used to dress for him. Nowadays unanyonyesha mtoto. So there are so many small things that become so big na zinakujaga zinaleta shida sana afterwards. Na unajua huo ni mtoto wa kwanza. I don't know if we still have time. Supposing you give birth to a child with a challenge, hamkukuwa mmefactor in that. How do you go about that?
Yeah.
If it's not handled properly, italeta shida kubwa sana. But if it's handled properly and two people know that we are here together, we are one, we are here to stay, we are here to live, we are here forever, haitakuwa shida. Once again, I will say it's not easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like the way you've said that it's good for you to make sure that you take whatever works for your relationship. Many people are copying other relationships, other couples. What they do, they want to do the exact one. I think it's important for us to keep on doing things uniquely, things that will work for ourselves. Yeah. So as we think about that, let's take this short break and we'll be back with more. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show. Remember, this show is proudly brought to you by Miss Yo Ashan and Younib Organization, and we're trying to reach out to the community to teach you more or to get you informed on more matters mental health. If you want any psychological help, you can always call the number 0700-352-250 and our own psychologist will help you out here. So coming back to the conversation, I want to take you back to before getting married. Yeah. What are some of the red flags that young couples really ignore before getting into marriage and they should not ignore?
Yeah, actually, that is very, very important because some things are just so open. They are there in the open, but you ignored. I don't know, sometimes it would be maybe called desperation to get married or ignorance. And that is why I always say, before people get married, they should go for premarital guidance. Ndio mjue. Someone is very rude to everybody else. You go for coffee, ametukana waiter, hawezi goja, you know, and it may be the lady, it may be the guy. You ignored. What makes you think hata kutreat hivyo the same way? Somebody who respects nobody. Somebody who does things so recklessly. Somebody who spends money just like that and they don't account for anything. Na hiyo sio wewe vile unapenda. And you soldier on somebody who is violent. Mnakosana kidogo ushawekelewa slap. Na wewe ukajiingiza tu huko. somebody who is involved in illegal businesses. Na we uliona, somebody who is never honest, somebody who is not open. For example, you would not even be able to say clearly what they do. Anakwambianga yeye ufanya biashara, naenda out of the country, nanunua vitu. Na vitu gani hujawahi ona? I work in, hujawahi jua ni wapi. Mtu hajai kukuambia kitu wewe unaweza simama nayo. Sometimes don't even get surprised. Somebody gets married to somebody who they don't even know the second name. Mtu hajawahi sema ukweli wa kwao, mtu hajai kukupeleka kwao, hataki. Uongo zile amekuambia versus ukweli ni kidogo sana. Na wewe bado uko hapo. If you get yourself in a situation like that, I would not want to blame the person who is lying to you, who is not honest. I blame you. Because how? Why didn't you even check out? Why did you go all the way? Mtu anakuchapa as a boyfriend, as a girlfriend, uko tu hapo. Alikuwa overly rude. Alikuwa overly obsessive. Na wewe ukakubali. But it's very dangerous to be with somebody who is overly obsessive of you. You are still there. Do you think they will change? Sometimes people have traumatic issues coming from childhood. Na wewe ukangangana tu. Somebody who you will never describe. Mara anaongea, mara haongei. Akona both extremes. Too high, too low. Somebody who shouts at you. Mulikosania kwa barabara akakuacha na akaenda. Na akaenda na si mara moja. Somebody who will never apologize. Somebody who will never own up. Somebody who will never take responsibility. Somebody who is so stingy. Na hapa isikuwe misunderstood. I'm not talking about hii issue ati mwanaume lazima atoboke, hapana. But kuna mtu mwingine uchoyo yake imezidi. Na ni either way. Somebody who is very, very selfish. Somebody who is a crybaby. And then, are you comfortable with all that? No. Somebody who is always the one making all decisions. Yako. Somebody who doesn't support anything about you. It's always about them. Wewe kitambo mfike mlioana, where were you? I would ask. Again, I will say, before people get married, let people go seek career guidance. Not career. Sorry, I mix two things. I also do career talks. That's why I think.
Yeah.
So seek premarital guidance from a professional, from somebody who understands. Dia kuambie na ukuje, and you should be very, very open. What you have seen in a person that may not be very comfortable with you, always feel free to ask. For example, nasema, by the way, when we are there and we are walking and I disagree with an opinion, this guy becomes rude, becomes violent, becomes so annoyed. How am I supposed to go? Sometimes hata huyo mtu anaweza saidika kama yeye labda hakukuwa anajua. Sometimes people do things from as a repercussion. Something happened, a trigger happens, inalete hii. So it can be handled if it is said well. So unaona? And there are so many red flags. So many. Sometimes mtu hajai kuambia hata anaishi wapi. Utarudi upate yako married. Some people will even have a child they have never talked about. Mkioana ndio anakuambia. But ukirudi nyuma uangalie kulikuwa na telltale signs. Ni wewe hukukuwa able to kutafsiri. So unaona? Na sisemi hivi kuogopesha watu. Hapana, not everybody, not that red flags will be there in all situations or in all cases.
So I hope we are following on and we are getting to learn more about it. And this is something that we should look. Kwanza, those people who hatujaingia into marriage yet, it's important for us to look for these signs so that by the time tunaingia tusikuja tuseme I wish I knew. Yeah, it's really important for us to actually see these signs. Yeah. So I'd like you to tell us maybe how would a couple in marriage already maintain their love and intimacy as years go by?
Okay, first of all, people are in marriage because they started by love. Inafika ngapi inaisha? Okay, definitely, you're not going to expect things to be done the same way they used to be done. Kitambo, sindio? But does it mean love ended? It does not end. You get your own ways of doing things. And not do the same things that you used to do 15 years ago. You are doing the same things. Then there are those things that happen. Na watu hawajuangi, watu who ignore. For example, names. I personally have not understood why people should change names Mlikuwa mnaitana jina fulani before marriage, watoto wakazaliwa, all of a sudden mnaanza kuitana mama fulani, baba fulani. I personally discourage that. I don't know if it's cultural but for me, I refuse that. And even today, I would not accept that. I would rather uniite tu jina yangu, that works for me. Sindio?
Yeah.
So, does it work for everybody that aitwe mama so and so? Where did people get that? People are so annoyed because of the way they are dressed. Others are called we. Unasikia? We. And you know, mtu anajua ni anaitwa ukiitwa we now hapo una expect mkueaji vibrant, sindio? People who spend their time in the same position always, amwendangi hata coffee. Sometimes it's not even about the money. Take a walk together, go to a supermarket together, do window shopping, buying nothing. You know, the moment mko pamoja nje, it changes the environment.
Yeah.
Speak a different language, joke together, take a holiday if possible. No, when we talk about holiday, we're not talking about spending so much money. Do you know you can make anything work if you choose? Keep on communicating, keep on coming back on the table and bringing up your issues. Mnajiuliza, by the way, tumefika wapi? Why are we here? Bona conflicts ziko mingi sana siku hizi. Where are we going wrong? Always do a self-analysis as you, each and every one of you. Useme, by the way, bona siku hizi hatuongeleshani kama kitambo, bona siku hizi inaboeka. And then also, angalia, explore. Angalia vitu watu wengine wanafanya. Some will work for you, some will not work for you, sindio? But kuboeka kwa marriage, na love atiliisha, mi naonanga ni choice ya watu wawili. Make it happen. Do things different. Adapt new ways of doing things. This notion ati unajua sasa sisi tulizeeka, who said? Change your hairstyle. Change your skin care. Change the way you dress and complement each other. It will work. And it will be, by the way, it will be new every day if you choose. Yeah.
Awesome. I'd like you now to, because of time, I'd like you to tell us mostly the important lesson you've learned over time in marriage.
What I have learned, I told you the last time that I'm married now for 22 years. 22, 23, 22, going to 23. The biggest lesson I have learned, vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. It's not, unajua, when you are getting married, mnakuanga hata amustuki what will happen, but ground inakuanga very tofauti.
Yeah.
But proper communication, honesty, patience, na kutulia saa zingine kwa sababu like I'm a very outspoken person, outgoing. My husband is not the same, and I have to adapt to his way of doing things. I cannot force him to do things to change me, and you cannot change a person the same way I would not want to be changed. So for me, the greatest lesson here has been proper communication and being true to myself and being true to the marriage, and knowing that I'm here to stay. I was not forced by anybody, and because of that, I have learned to make it good for me, because I love living a happy life. And I love being there, you know, being involved. So what am I giving? What have I been giving? Kitambo ilikuwa a bit shaky, but later on in life, I learned. And of course, I have been looking out at other couples, older people, and especially our parents.
Yeah.
They were married for so many years. Why did it work? So vitu zingine nimekopi kutoka kwao. And kila mtu kukaa kwa lane yake. Mi najua kukaa kwa lane yangu when it matters and when I should. Na pia kupeana time. Na kumark boundaries na limits. Everybody needs their own privacy at some point. And I also learned a very important lesson. In marriage, it's not about the man or it's not about the woman. Sometimes he may not be able to do his duties for whatever reason. I will take it up, because at the end of the day, it's about our marriage. Yeah, and it's easy. And I will repeat again as I finish. Marriages do work if people choose for them to work. If you have a positive outlook, it will definitely work. They will not work because there will be no conflicts or issues. They will be there, but when you are mature enough, and maturity does not mean age. It is now what you have learned about marriage and you put it into practice. but communication is the biggest one, and being truthful. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming and helping us learn more about young marriages. I'm sure we've gotten something from this conversation, yeah? At least we've gotten to understand more about young marriages. We've gotten to know also about the culture shock and what we expect for some of us who are not married, the surprises that we can get. So at least now we have a little bit of early preparations. Tumejua this is what we can look for. So asante sana. Feel free to come back again. Thank you. Again and again and again.
Anytime you call me, I will come. I also enjoy coming here.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. And to everyone who has made this show a success, thank you so much, Elias, for being our director and also our camera person. Asante sana. And thank you to also Rose Shege for being our floor manager of the day. Yeah? To you, our viewers, thank you for always sharing these conversations. And thank you for always making sure that you tune in to Younib Breakfast Show every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Until next time, do have a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.